Philadelphia News, team of my heart.
What if the move that saves the Philadelphia 76ers is also the move that breaks every fan's heart? What if the answer has been right in front of us the whole time, but nobody had the courage to say it out loud? Until now. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change the way you think about the Sixers' future. And there's a name at the end of this story that nobody, and I mean nobody, expected to be the one to start this conversation. Let's go back to where this all begins. Philadelphia entered this season with hope. Real hope. The kind of hope that makes you believe this is finally the year, finally the team, finally the moment. But the NBA doesn't care about hope. It cares about availability, continuity, and execution. And the Sixers have been struggling on all three fronts. The questions surrounding the franchise's direction have grown louder with each passing week, and now, a voice from inside the Sixers' own history has stepped forward to say what many have been whispering for months.
Think about this for a second. When a former player, someone who actually shared a locker room, practiced alongside the star, felt the energy of that franchise from the inside, steps up and says it's time to consider a trade, that is not a casual opinion. That is a warning. That is someone who knows the culture, knows the dynamics, and is willing to risk the backlash because they genuinely believe something needs to change. And that moment happened, publicly, recently, and it sent shockwaves through the entire NBA community.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, and where you need to pay close attention, because this is the part most analysts are completely missing. The Sixers' situation isn't just about one player's availability. It's about roster construction, about the ceiling of this current group, about what they can actually compete for versus what they're simply hoping to survive. Every time this team gets close to something real, something breaks, literally and figuratively. And the question that nobody wants to sit with is this: at what point does loyalty to a player become a strategic mistake for the entire franchise?
Let me give you the full picture. When this player is healthy and on the floor, there's not a team in the league that can easily stop him. He is a force. He's dominant in ways that make you remember why you fell in love with basketball. But, and this is the critical but, how many times have we seen this team build around that potential, only to watch a postseason window close before it ever truly opened? How many times have we accepted next year as the answer? The former Sixer star who spoke up didn't do it to disrespect anyone. He did it because he sees the same pattern playing out over and over again, and he recognizes that the franchise cannot afford another cycle of the same result.
Here's the strategic layer that makes this even more explosive. The trade market for a player of this caliber, even with all the concerns about health and contract, would generate enormous interest. We're not talking about a minor move here. We're talking about a deal that could bring back multiple high-value assets, draft picks, young players with upside, and potentially a piece that reshuffles the entire power structure of the Eastern Conference. Teams are always looking for a difference maker, and no matter what anyone says publicly, the interest would be real and it would be immediate. The Sixers could leverage this moment to completely reimagine what they're building in Philadelphia. Now, I know what some of you are already thinking. You're thinking, but what about the connection to the city? What about everything he's built here? You can't just trade a franchise icon. And I hear that. I really do. That emotional connection is real, and it matters. But let me ask you something. What does loyalty look like when the team isn't winning? What does it mean to hold on to something beautiful when that something keeps getting interrupted before it reaches its full expression? The most respectful thing the Sixers could do, both for the player and for the fan base, might actually be to make a bold move that gives everyone a real chance at a championship, even if the paths to that championship lead in different directions.
So, where do the Sixers go from here? Do they stay the course, bet on health, and hope that this time is different? Or do they listen to the voice of someone who was there, someone who knows what this franchise needs, and seriously explore what a trade could unlock? Either choice carries risk.
But only one choice has a real chance of changing the ending of this story. The Sixers need to be honest with themselves, and that honesty might start with a conversation that begins with the word trade.
The current roster around him has real pieces. There's young talent, there's hustle, there's energy, but there are also gaps. Gaps in shooting, gaps in defensive versatility, gaps in the kind of star power that actually moves the needle in a playoff series against the top teams in the East. A trade that brings in the right combination of players could close those gaps in ways that years of incremental development simply cannot. And that's not negativity, that's strategic thinking. That's the kind of conversation NBA front offices are having behind closed doors every single day.
Think about what Philadelphia could become if they pulled the right trigger at the right time. Not a team in survival mode, not a team hoping their star stays healthy enough to make a real run. A team built from the ground up with the right balance of experience, athleticism, shooting, and depth. A team that competes not just in one great series, but through an entire postseason. That is the vision the former Sixers player is gesturing toward, even if the words feel uncomfortable in the moment.
And here's the final thought I want to leave you with before the reveal. Every great franchise in NBA history has had a moment, a defining crossroads, where they had to choose between comfort and transformation, between the familiar and the future. Some teams made the move and won championships. Others held on too long and watched their window close forever. Philadelphia is standing at that crossroads right now. The conversation has started. The former player has spoken. The debate is no longer underground. It is out in the open, and it demands a real answer from the organization.
Before I go, drop your opinion in the comments right now. Would you make this trade? Yes or no? I want to see where Sixers Nation stands. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell. We cover every move, every rumor, every debate about Philadelphia basketball every single day. And if this video made you think, hit that like button because it helps this channel reach more Sixers fans just like you. Now, the player who said it's time to think about this trade, the person at the center of all of this conversation, his name is Joel Embiid. And the former Sixers star who had the courage to say what everyone else was afraid to say was Michael Carter Williams.